Georgia.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you giving me an opportunity to wave on to this. This is extremely important. As you know, we have 2 reactors that are under construction now, and well, one of them we thought was up, but got delayed a little bit. But still, we're very committed to nuclear power in the state of Georgia, and very proud of that. Today, as what we're doing is, of course, looking at bills that will support the U.S. nuclear industry, but it's important that we understand, and I'm sure you would agree, that we need to be looking at other nations as well and what they're doing, particularly our adversaries, Russia and China. We understand that together they account for nearly 70% of the reactors that are either under construction or being planned right now. In fact, Russia, I think, has the most with 19 and has a very strong influence in global nuclear power. Russia's building plants in Turkey, Egypt, and I think they're discussing one in Hungary as well. So, and then China, we know what they're doing. They're pursuing Pakistan, Argentina, and talks with Saudi Arabia and other countries as well. In fact, this is a big part of China's Belt and Road Initiative, and that alone should be enough to get our attention, much less the fact that we need reliable baseload power here in America, and we all understand how important that is. But that's why I've got a bill that if you can imagine that, that's why I'm here. I've got a bill that I want to talk about. It's the Global Nuclear Energy Assessment and Cooperation Act, and what it does is to take a multi-pronged approach to promoting nuclear energy around the world. First of all, it'll prohibit us here in the United States from importing nuclear fuel assemblies from hostile foreign nations like Russia and China. That'll encourage energy independence, and that's important as well. Secondly, it'll introduce a program, the International Nuclear Reactor Export and Innovation Branch at the NRC, that will focus our international nuclear efforts, including training and sharing our expertise with allies. Dr. Goff, you just made a comment a few minutes ago about how we've got natural resources here and in Canada and our allies, and that's very important. We need to really foster those relationships and share with our allies and work together with them. That's extremely important. I want to ask you, I'll start with you, Mr. Goff. What are your concerns with Russian and Chinese dominance in the nuclear energy space globally?
Well, like I said, Russia's invasion of Ukraine has demonstrated that they're not a reliable energy partner. We can't rely on them for fuel, and I don't think other of our allies should be relying on them for new builds as well. We need to be looking at, instead of providing us or allied resources there. Would similar things about China as well, that we would rather have us or our allies doing those builds and all. So we do need to take this opportunity to focus on how can we replace those builds and how can we turn around more U.S. builds. We've had some success now in Central Europe, and we need to continue our efforts to focus on how we can export U.S. technology.
Right.
Because we want to make sure the U.S. is setting the standards for safety, security, and non-proliferation around the world, and the way we do that is have the U.S. technology.
And China is an open book. I mean, they've said through their Belt and Road Initiative what their intentions are, so they're just following through on their intentions. It's pretty obvious what they're doing. Mr. Dorman, let me ask you, do you agree? Do you think it's important for the U.S. to be a leader in setting standards globally and sharing our best practices with our allies?
Yes, Congressman, and we have a long-standing role at the NRC working with other regulators to ensure they have the capacity to take on these responsibilities, particularly these countries that are looking to embark on nuclear power programs.
Good. Well, I hope you'll look at this bill because it's a bipartisan bill. Scott Peters is the Democrat who on this committee who is the other co-sponsor of it, but it is, I think, a good approach at how we should be looking at nuclear power and positioning ourselves in the United States along with our allies to make sure we are a leader in nuclear power. Again, Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to wave on and to get a plug in for what I think is a very, very productive bill.